Hello everyone and welcome to Arcie versus klawtropper 1. I am here. We're in the Speeders World Championships right now. Losers bracket round 1. So the loser of this match will be eliminated from the tournament. So a lot on stake here today. We have klawtropper versus Arcie, two of very solid competitors for sure, and I'm really I'm unsure who's gonna take this match, to be completely honest. You know, a lot of these matches have been sort of one-sided in the loser bracket, but I genuinely have no clue on this one. Arcie will be playing with home server advantage, so he will start like ahead of everyone else, but not to worry. That will be accounted for. Claw should be recording, should submit his touch at a later time, so all of that should be dealt with. Just keep that in note, guys, that Arcie will appear quite a bit ahead at the start. And Arcie, speaking of technical issues here, he's playing on a bad laptop right now, a little laggy, so we may have to give a couple redos to Arcie throughout the tournament match, as he does frequently get lag spikes and things of that nature. So sorry if the stream gets a little confusing because of that, but we may have to give a couple of redos just to be as fair as possible here. Practice 1, this is Arcie finishing a 31-2 in practice 1. I know that's a great time for him. He was pretty happy about getting a 31-2 even when he was warming up before the match, so getting that in a match, I'm sure, is great for him. Obviously, you definitely want to keep that up as we head to the official rounds here. This just being practice 2, though. Claw, I was just going to say, Claw didn't finish practice 1 clean. However, Arcie will have this disadvantage in practice 2. Claw, it's his turn to finally get a clean run going. (31-4). I mean, if you count his touches, that's definitely 31-2. I mean, Claw is playing all the way from Sweden. Arcie, his server, this is I believe, New Zealand server, maybe Sydney server, but very, very far away from Sweden for sure. So big ping disadvantage here for Claw as we head into round 1. We'll see how much ground he can cover before the map comes to a close. Both of them hit the water jump cleanly. I mean, right there's a huge choke spot. I mean, you saw Arcie die there in practice 2. So both competitors making it through is a good thing to see. Both finishing cleanly here. This could be a tie. A 31-2 for Arcie, 31-4 for Claw. Well, we both saw from them in practice, exactly. I mean, I know Arcie's very happy with that 31-2. Round 2. Claw, I mean, obviously can't exactly tell what he's getting, but 31-4 should do the trick. Arcie fails the water jump, doesn't even get a chance at it. Claw, 31-4 here would be great for him, just to take that advantage over consistency over Arcie. Obviously, the mental when you're playing on such high pings completely different than when it's your own server. So, you know, Claw, the 31-4, that's honestly pretty impressive. I mean, Arcie finishing a 45 flat. Not the time he wants to be seeing, however, definitely not over for him at all. Round 3. You know, Arcie, a DNF here would put him in not great standing against Claw. Claw seems very consistent already. Both of them making the water jump. Both seem very consistent at it. Obviously, Claw having a much better avatar than Arcie is able to do stuff like Steam that is just going to be much more comfortable playing. Oh, Arcie, another 31-2, but Claw messes up at the ending, makes a mistake, misses. Not what you want to see at all, however. He will recover. Arcie very happy again with the 31-2. Claw is going to finish this out just to protect himself against the DNF average. Obviously, once he finishes this, it will be at least locked in to not be DNF. 64-3. However, Arcie, you know, the 31-2s, I mean, just one more, even a 31-3 might push it in his favor, regardless of what Claw can pull on round 5. Here we go. Lot on line for Arcie here. You know, a 31-2 would be fantastic, and obviously we don't quite know what Claw's going to be getting just because of the ping. However, you know, can't worry about that mid-match. But these two are just so close. Oh, so close. You can really tell. You know, in an equal ping environment, these guys are probably, their avatars are probably overlapping. Arcie 31-3. Claw 31-4 though, again, right there. Arcie is going to be taking a huge advantage on IGT here. However, being unable to record, Arcie is just what. Okay, so what was meant to happen there, guys, is one more grassy mountain was supposed to happen. I just ended it early because every other time it put one more grassy mountain on, but it did not that time, so please ignore that. Western Bluffs will not be coming up. Round 5, lot on the line for both. I mean, if Claw can piece together a great run here, he's definitely has a huge chance to take it. Both of them locking in a 31-4 or better average, so there's no point really safetying as DNFs aren't an issue. Both of them on a clean run. Ooh, Arcie lag spikes, I think. Okay, he's gonna decline the redo, but he did have a big lag spike there, so that's what I was talking about. You know, he's definitely able to opt into those redos if he would like to. They're completely fair game, but just watch out for those. As you saw, that lost him, you know, probably 0.2 of a second, so big time loss just from something you completely cannot control. Obviously, he did DNF the ending though, so regardless, he likely would not have finished the run, and it would have ended up a DNF anyway. Claw is going for skip. I wasn't sure if this was a skipless match or a skip match, so I believe this is allowed, this is legal, just because I wasn't sure. I hadn't seen any strict rules laid out, and the rest of the tournament will be played skip default, so this is completely fair game for klawtropper to be doing that. 21-9 though, solid time for sure. Not attainable by skipless, so Arcie will. Okay, Claw will be asking chat. I mean, 21-9 is definitely not doable with skipless, so. I mean, Arcie's discretion, he wasn't, not to leak anything, but he wasn't doing great skip-wise in practice. So, I mean, if I were him, I would definitely opt into skipless. However, I would love to see some skips going on here. I mean, Claw 21-8, wow. Using the pretty new Steam strategy. Arcie says he can do what he wants, but Arcie will be doing skipless regardless of Claw's choice. So you could consider it cheap if Claw goes for skip. However, it's completely Arcie had the choice to full on ban it and he chose not to. So I wouldn't be mad if Claw went for skips here personally, and that would basically guarantee the win on this map for him. However, he may deem it more fair. The majority of people might deem it more fair to just play it skipless, as that's what Arcie put a lot of his practice into. Round one. We'll see what Claw chooses to do. I'm very curious, as he did not express in chat. I mean, it'll definitely be a more exciting thing to watch if he goes for skip, as skipless, just a huge ping barrier. He goes for skip! Nice. The newer seam strategy up the tree, I mean, is very consistent. Wasn't really used until, you know, primarily this tournament at 21-8. Arcie 22-9. Skipless really is just going to be unable to keep up with that. And just with that alone, I mean, this probably will be klawtropper's map unless a big choke happens. Or, alternatively, Arcie starts going for skip, which I would definitely, you know, not going for skip is basically just throwing the point out the window, and in such a close match like this, you really can't be doing that. Round two. If Claw hits one more skip, it's likely GG's. Obviously, Claw going for very consistent strats. I mean, this is as consistent as just doing the map skipless. 21-8 again. Exact same times as round one. Claw taking a huge advantage over Arcie here. But he remains skipless, which, interesting strategy. I'm not quite sure why, to be honest, because, you know, you're not going to be topping a 21 in practice. I mean, in skipless, sorry about that. In skipless, I mean, his peak is like 22-6, and skipless is his peak, so, you know, like a 24 from Claw will put it away. Unless Arcie decides now's the right time to start going for skip. Oh, he does! Arcie does make that choice, but he DNFs. Dies. Sorry about that. Claw stays very consistent at 21-9. Yeah, 21-9. So Arcie will have, I mean, Claw will have a 21 average locked in there. So Arcie's gonna be needing to go for some crazy skip here, which many options for him to do so. The 22s means he'll have to get, you know, gain a couple seconds. However, world record being a 17, there's so many opportunities, so many different paths that Arcie can take to, you know, still gain a lead on time here, as his two skipless runs will be meaning he counts to 22. Arcie, his avatar is completely unable to do the steam strategies, so that's something to note here, is he's going to be having to go old school using the tree. Alright. Heading into round 4. I'll be sure to do that a little differently this time. Round 4. Obviously, there's not much Claw can do here. It's going to be all up to Arcie if he chooses to go for some crazy skip. However, Claw with the 21-833 average locked in. Yo, he just chooses to play skipless. I'm not sure why Arcie dies twice. Claw's going to be finishing out something clean here. 22-9. Arcie's going to struggle to find any sort of consistency with the skip. He pure DNF. Number 5. So Claw will be taking Clockwork Coliseum. However, this next map, it may all turn. Round 5 here. Claw, obviously opting for skipless last round. Not a lot at stake for him. And Arcie, it's kind of over unless, yeah, he doesn't go for the etch it there. Doesn't go for any insane strategies. Hitting it clean once. Ooh, that's nice. Oh, it's too slow and he doesn't make the jump. 22-9 again. Nope. 23 flat from Claw there. Tried to predict it incorrectly. However, again, it does not really matter for his average at all in any way. Arcie's just probably practicing the skip maybe for a future tournament. However, you know, a couple more opt-outs of the skip, opt-outs of the redo, a couple more like that, and you know, all this practice will be necessary for a future tournament, as he might be eliminated from this one. Another pure DNF, 2 in a row for Arcie there. He's going to be counting a 68-second time. Autumn Woodlands, welcome. So Autumn Woodlands is going to be such an insane map to watch, as there's so many different routes, so many different paths that you can take. And I'm super curious on what both these guys will be doing, because I could probably name 20 different paths you could take for skip. Oh, I really hope they opt for skip, as that'll be much more interesting to watch. Oh, Arcie opts for skipless. That's unfortunate. You know, klawtropper booting up R15 to go for this M9 right here. But skipless will still be great to watch. I mean, there's so much volatility. So much that can go wrong, but so much that can go, you know, so right. Oh, both of them opting, it seems, for safe strategies, which opens the door for either of them on, you know, run 4, run 5 to, you know, tie world record strategy and get a huge advantage, you know, a couple tenths. When you're dealing with a skipless map, a couple tenths really will completely be the make or break. Practice 1. Arcie probably after, I'm not sure if he expected Claw to be so consistent at clockwork skip. Maybe after that he realized that he can't be throwing stuff away, opts to force skipless on Autumn Woodlands, which with the abundance of skip possibilities, I don't hate the strategy completely. Practice 2, I mean, Claw wasn't on a bad run at all there. You know, can't quite tell exactly what he would have finished, as he chose to sit the ending out and AFK anyway, so I'm not quite sure what that was for, but oh, Arcie, that factory jump can be very inconsistent at times. Round 1. Claw. Again, the ping disadvantage is much more noticeable on this. Yeah, but neither of them going for the, not quite sure what you call the jump, but hugging the corner there can shave off multiple tenths. Arcie taking it too tight bonks, loses 0.2, 0.3. Claw's going to be in the lead despite the ping disadvantage in 21-4. What? 25-8 to 25-9. I am very confused where I got 21-4 from, but yeah, very close race. that's what we're going to be seeing throughout Autumn Woodlands. I mean, does not need to be skipped to be an exciting map there. Round 2, yeah, but neither of them again going for the wall jump. Oh, Arcie misses the factor jump. He's been very inconsistent at that. $25.7 for Claw. Another great run for him. $35.8 for Arcie. Arcie not off to the best start. I mean, Claw starting with 2 decent runs. However, as I said, I mean, there's so many different options in paths that you can take on Autumn Woodlands, so I wouldn't be worried at all. I mean, Claw has the Arcie has the opportunity to, you know, take up there. For example, you could take the Skelly jump, or you could hug the corner, but neither of them take it. Claw seems to not have the very best strategy, so Arcie's going to save time on that aspect. However, Arcie's consistency is definitely being put into question. This was round 3. Arcie 25.5. Claw 25.7. Staying consistent, however, his strategies, they don't allow him to get super fast times. I mean, neither do Arcie's, but to a lesser extent. Round 4. I mean, Claw definitely needs to pick up the pace strategy-wise. However, I'm not sure what he's practiced, what he's used to. Oh, see, Arcie goes for the tighter strategies. That's what I'm talking about. Fails it, however, bails and is still safe. However, losing a lot of time to Claw. 26 is probably imminent. Yeah, 25.8 Claw, 26 for Arcie. Final run for Autumn Woodlands. I mean, this is anyone's map. It all just depends what strategies they want to take. What do they want to go for? How much will they be willing to risk in the sake of getting a quick run? Arcie not counting the best times at all. Well, counting a 25.5, 25.9 compared to Claw, who's stayed much more consistent. It likely will all come down to this run 5. Arcie goes for some different strategy, but dies. So he's going to be counting the 25.9. And it's all up to Claw right here. If he can pull out a 25.7, that'd be amazing. 25.8, that might still do. Yeah, 25.73 average, 25. Claw with the 25.733, Arcie with a 25.8 average. 39.2. Oh god. Okay, I just gotta choose map. So, Arcie's actually going to be, IGT-wise, taking a 2-1 deficit first 3 maps. So, all it takes is klawtropper to win one of these next 2, and he'll win on IGT alone, without touches even needing to be checked. Practice 1, Orion. I mean, this is a very consistent map, so I don't see Claw taking this IGT. I mean, Arcie basically starting with a 0.2 advantage. It's very hard to lose that time in, you know, such a short, consistent map as Orion. However, mistakes are able to be made. Inconsistencies will show. As you can see, I mean, klawtropper does have 16.0 world record, so he's very well versed on this map. So if there's any short, consistent map for Claw to gain time on Arcie on, it is the Orion disaster. Claw takes that very tight, however, that does lead for a lot of opportunity for slowdowns like we saw there. Neither of them finishing a clean run in practice 1. practice 2. This is obviously one of Klawtropper's best maps. This will be a huge opportunity for him to just take the match in 4. So sorry. Obviously, ping. Yeah, Arcie. I don't know if that's an intentional strategy for Arcie, but that just loses a lot of time for something that can be replaced by something very consistent. However, Klaw's big jump over the gap there loses a lot of time if he messes it up. All right, heading into round 1. Klaw definitely can't afford to throw away so many attempts at his gap jump. Arcie, again, I don't know what that strategy is about, but it loses like 0.2 every time to Klaw. It's going to be an equal race about... What? A weird pause from Klaw? I don't know what that was about. 16-9, not going to be the best start for him at all. Okay, round 2 here. Klaw, starting with a 16-9, definitely wants to do much better on this map. I mean, 16-4 should be very doable for him. So, yeah, very clean run from him. Arcie can't keep up. 16-4. Arcie 16-6. Not as good as his first round, but, you know, he's still right there. Both of them having a 16-4. I'd imagine that both the 16-6 and 16-9 from Arcie and Klaw, both of them will not end up counting, and the 16-4s will go into their final average. But the huge ping gap here, I mean, I'd put Klaw ahead of Arcie so far. I don't know why Klaw is already ahead of Arcie. We might have had like a lag spike there. So that might be a redo for Arcie. Klaw 16-4 will count though. Great time for him. Alright, we'll see what happens. Because, like, this is a normal gap, and this was almost the gap that Klaw had on Arcie, so there's definitely some shenanigans going on there. I will offer for him to redo that 16-8 at the end of the map. 16-6 for Arcie, though. Alright, Klaw, I mean, already a 16-4-3-3 average. Arcie 16-5-3-3, so Arcie has a huge deficit to cross already. Just his strategies are much less consistent and I'd arguably harder. Ooh, Klaw is going to DNF round 5, so he doesn't have... Oh, Arcie 16-4. Arcie 16-4, so if he gets a very clean run on his redo for round 3, I mean, he could potentially win the Oregon Disaster IGT. Alright, redo for Arcie. Oh, sorry. I can't find the map. Okay. Ooh, see, now we finally get to see Arcie go for, you know, the meta strategy. I'm not sure why he kept running. 16-3! Wow, Arcie takes the map IGT because of that redo. That's a huge win for him there. Wow. So, heading into map 5 is going to be 2-2 on IGT. All coming down to Frosted Fortress, one of Arcie's stronger maps. Claw desperately needs to find something here. I mean, I don't think he should try to bank off of consistency, because Arcie has proven to be very consistent throughout this tournament. Both of them have been. I think Claw just gains time throughout every corner, so this might be in his favor. But as we saw with the Orion disaster, that means very little when it heads to the actual tournament rounds. 0.1 differential in practice 1. This is exactly what you want to see from a 2-2. Practice 2. And honestly, if I were them, I would opt for, you know, taking one of these practices all 2 minutes or something, just to really nail it in. Because when you're dealing with just 0.1 differences, I mean, every tiny bit of practice that you can get before the map really matters. And obviously, when you're facing elimination, this is not something you can take lightly. Ooh, Arcie, inconsistent in practice 2, is going to be dying to the start. We'll see how Claw fares. If Claw can finish another 36-5, 36-6 even, I really do trust his consistency against Arcie here. Claw, though, looking very decent run here. I mean, nothing to be ashamed of, obviously. I mean, this probably is better than 36-5. Yeah, 36-5, staying very consistent. Arcie, that might have been just a one-time fluke, though, so definitely don't count him out. Alright. Round 1. Will Claw stay consistent with the 36-5s, or will he falter? Will this be Arcie's time to shine? Who knows? We will learn starting now. Good luck to both competitors for all the marbles. Claw just going to be gaining time on movement on every single corner, so when we're about 30 seconds into the map, I'm sure they'll be almost neck and neck. Part of that is just more practice, part of that could be a better avatar. Probably a combination of both. But that turn in specific, Claw gains a lot of time there. He's right behind Arcie. Arcie might take a 0.1, however, just staying a little bit further ahead. Arcie 36-4. Claw again 36-5, so staying consistent. I mean, clearly for Arcie, this isn't a thing about consistency. This is truly about getting the fastest time you can, and Arcie clearly is capable of doing that. Can pull out some nasty runs in, you know, in the true rounds like we saw in Grassy Mountain. In practice, he doesn't seem great. However, in the true rounds, Arcie always performs. Round 2 here, Claw, though, with the 36-5s, I mean, I'm completely fine with the 36-5s. You know, I think that's a testament to his consistency, that both his practices, and honestly, now it could be both his first 2 runs, could be 36-5s. Arcie, though, again consistent, and oh, just as I said that, the commentator's curse, Arcie's gonna take a death. Claw 36-4 improves on his consistency. Arcie grabbed a checkpoint, I believe, so it's not a huge damage, but 43-6. I'm not sure exactly what happened to Arcie there. He seemed like he was, you know, stable, and then he just kind of, from what I saw, kind of veered off path there a little bit. Round 3. Claw, the advantage, having equal best times. We'll see what Claw can put together in round 3. One solid run, that's a very solid average for him, you know. And Arcie, with his consistency, I'm not sure if he'll be able to match that. However, if Arcie can pull out more 36.4s, obviously that will topple Claw's 36.5s. So every 10th matters here, guys. Both of them pretty consistent. Obviously, just one weird falter from Arcie's the only mistake we've seen on Frosted Fortress. Both of them survive. Arcie probably a 10th here. Maybe 2. 2! Arcie, a 36.3! Performing when it matters most. Claw 36.5 against inconsistent, but will it be enough? Arcie counting out of... Sorry. I'm getting a little caught up. 36.4, 36.3 best runs for Arcie, but 36.5s, 36.4 for... Why is Claw not moving? Okay. If Arcie finishes this out, it will count. However, obviously, if he stops, we won't count that against him. Ooh, Claw. Disconnects. He might be having some internet issues. Obviously, not going to count that against him, but Arcie's going to finish this out. 36.5. Alright, so we will be waiting here. However, I don't want it to be too long of a wait. We have more matches coming up. Stay tuned for that for sure. But we'll give him a little bit of time. Obviously, not an ideal situation on map 5. Yikes. Arcie 36.5 and Claw was gone. That's not gonna be like great. $36.5. I mean, after 36.3 for Arcie, I mean, when you know Claw can just pull out 36.5, 36.4 out of his pocket every single time, that's not exactly, you know, fast enough. To be completely frank, I'm not sure. Don't want to be too like pesky, but I am very curious how long this will be. But let me give STC's first ever in-game preview of some of what we're going to be seeing, especially in round 5, the choke points of this map. Not that. This turn right here, it's super easy to bonk this, and I'm surprised we haven't seen any competitors bonk it. I mean, when you're coming up here at full speed, I mean, right there, that's such a huge choke point, and I'm glad we haven't seen any competitors fall to it. However, round 5, when the pressures are at an all-time high, completely possible for either one of them to hit that. And that, obviously not a run killer, but not, especially when, you know, Claw's getting such consistent times. Arcie has a 0.4 and a 0.3. It basically will be over for their average if they end up bonking that. However, that is not the only choke point on this map. Here, I mean, Claw seems to gain quite a bit on Arcie throughout that section. However, right here, so the world's record actually uses a new strategy in recent times called the tree jump over here, which saves quite a bit of time as you don't have to turn into, you know, this region, but it hasn't been used in tournament a ton, just due to its kind of inconsistency. You can slope seal, you can bonk this tree pretty easily, so I have noted neither have gone for this. However, going for tree jump is definitely an option. However, you can definitely overjump that box, as I just did. So I'm not sure if either one will be going for box jump. However, in a desperate situation where maybe they lose 0.1 at the start, that is definitely an option for either one to go for. Still working on bringing klawtropper back. Apologies. Obviously nothing we can do but wait. And yeah, both competitors really have surprised me. Oh. That's going in tournament clips. I mean, they've been very fast, very consistent, and from what I've noticed from Arcie throughout all 3 rounds is that he isn't always great in practice. However, when it's time for the tournament, he always gets great times, shows great consistency, and is all around, you know, a very solid competitor. Claw, I haven't seen him in as many tournaments. However, he's having a great tournament already. I mean, wasn't expecting much and almost came out and beat Vag. So we'll see how he fares in round 4 or round 5. But we will see. Obviously, Frosted Fortress being such a commonly played tournament map, Arcie probably has a lot more tournament experience on it than Claw. Probably used to... Okay, no, Arcie... I don't want Arcie to play, to be honest, because that is a little bit of unfair practice, but, I mean, if he just goofs off, it doesn't really matter. But, obviously, Arcie been in so many, you know, tournament situations. He should be able to deal the round 5 pressure, map 5 round 5 pressure a little bit better than klawtropper. However, klawtropper being one of the most consistent players in the tournament. So, I'm very, very curious how it'll play out. Obviously, nothing klawtropper can do about this internet trouble, but anyways, later on today, we actually have Chris versus Mal. Very hyped up match. Very excited to present that to you guys. I hope you're just as excited as I am. Then, tomorrow we should be seeing John versus Noah. Sunday, Rue versus Shane. Lewis versus Mecca. So we have a lot of interesting matches coming up for you guys. As the tournament starts to kind of come to a close. I mean, this is round 3. No, it isn't. I mean, we do have a round 3 match going on later today. So, the tournament is definitely coming to a close. These matches will just start to get even more and more exciting than they already have been. So I hope you guys are so excited to, you know, follow the losers bracket finals, the winner bracket finals along with me. klawtropper should be back soon. And obviously, if it needs to happen where klawtropper can't be back for a little while, we always can do the last couple rounds separate. However, it definitely would kind of kill the excitement a little bit. I mean, map 5 round 5. Would suck to have to play that separately. Hey! He's back. Alright. We're going to be watching Claw do an independent round 4. Arcie, please AFK. Thank you. I don't know if you heard me, but... Alright. Remember, Arcie's round 4 got a 36-5. However, Arcie has a little bit of a time advantage on Claw, so Claw might need a 36-4 here to stay in it. Very solid run to start. You know, the consistent strategies don't seem to lose him very much time. Doubt he'll opt for the true jump. He does not. Takes a very nice line, though. 36-4 is definitely doable for this run. Oh, it's a 36-5. So where does that put both of them? Alright, Claw. So far, his worst possible average is a 36-467. Arcie's worst possible average is a 36-400. So Arcie does have a 2/10 lead across all 5 maps, 4 rounds. However, with retouches and Claw, huge opportunity here in round 5. We'll have no limits. Arcie, maybe a lag spike. We'll see how it plays out. Alright. We might have to redo Arcie's. Oh. I don't know if that was a lag spike. We'll judge based off the time. 36-5 for Claw. I doubt Claw's was lag. Alright. See, this is exactly what I was talking about at the start of the match. You know, at any time, these lag spikes can just come. Kind of kill the player's momentum. Claw's going to be finishing with a 4.67 average, which will lose to Arcie. So, Arcie does win on IGT. However, we do have retouches coming up. Very close match. Arcie takes it 3-2 IGT. However, klawtropper being on such a ping disadvantage, I'm sure, you know, that could flip at any moment. Thank you all so much for watching. I will be seeing you very soon for Chris versus Messiah. Very hyped match there. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll keep you guys updated with the final